It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA Rugby professional rugby player, Megan Foster. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing really well. It's been a good day. Thanks for asking.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to play professional rugby?
Yeah, so, as a little girl, as many of us do, think about playing a professional sport, be like, that's what I want to do. I used to see like Mia Hamm and Brandy Chastain, like those are kind of like some of my idols growing up. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be them. So I always thought it would probably be soccer for me. When I was younger, I always thought, I want to be a professional soccer player. But now I get to be a professional rugby player, and that's just an incredible reality. So it's obviously something I've kind of dreamt of being a professional sports player my whole life. But also really like more recently, I watched some of my teammates last year and last season play professionally over here in England, and I just saw their development and their excitement about playing over here and everything that it gave them. And that really solidified them, like, you know what, I can do that. That seems like such a great opportunity. So that was really, really awesome getting to watch them even last year get to play here.
What was it like playing in college for Chico State and putting on that jersey?
Yeah, I think playing for Chico State was a great start to my rugby career. Honestly, from day one, I knew that they were my kind of people. I guess, for lack of better words of saying it, they were so welcoming. So I just felt immediate community with the team, which was really awesome. And I felt like I really learned a lot of important lessons while I was there for rugby, but even like being an athlete and a person in general. And so I thought, I really cherished my time there at Chico. It was really great.
What were some of your biggest accomplishments during your time at Chico State?
Good question. So the divisions were like way different when I played there. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think there was even hardly a single varsity team. And now there's multiple, and it's ever growing, which I love. But we were Division I when I was in college. So we were definitely played against some of the highest ranked teams in the nation. And we made it into playoffs most years, which was really fun. We never made it to the championship when I was there, but that's all right. But it was just so great just getting to play against the Stanfords and the Cals and the UC Davises. So it was really good.
What was that experience like of playing Division I and, like you said, playing against the Cals and the Stanfords?
Yeah, it was really challenging, but in such a good way. Because I initially went to college and played varsity soccer for 2 seasons, and then immediately switched over to rugby. And I knew that when I made the decision to stop playing varsity soccer, that I wanted to still play a competitive sport. And rugby was something I had wanted to try out previously, but didn't have the opportunity because it was always during soccer season. So I always prioritized soccer. And so being able to jump into such a high level of competition right away was like absolutely what I needed and what I wanted. So it was really good.
How was that like, obviously transitioning from playing soccer to going into playing college rugby?
It was, and I like to think it was a fairly smooth transition. I don't know. You could have to ask my coaches. Maybe they have a different answer. But I think that I was absolutely able to utilize the skills that I have learned playing not only soccer, but, basketball and volleyball throughout my years growing up, that I was able to really translate a lot of the same skills to rugby. Like, I was a goalkeeper in soccer, so I was used to catching a ball flying in the air. I was used to, using my hands. I was used to kicking the ball, obviously. So I think all those skills really helped me transition into that.
What was it like getting your first professional start and playing professionally rugby?
Oh, it was pretty cool. It was pretty exciting. I feel like I got the whole experience, really. I think the only thing that made it just a little special is if it was a home game. But that's totally all right. So I got a really cool experience of, I was thrown in with the team for a couple of weeks, and then we had a long bus ride. We played against the furthest team away from us. So I felt like I really got a cool experience of like having that bus ride with my teammates and getting to learn them better and getting to know them better, like outside of the training field, because I think it was maybe 6 hours. So definitely plenty of time to chat and do whatever. But it was a pretty cool, pretty quiet experience. Honestly, we didn't have that many spectators, but that almost like relieved a little bit of pressure. But really awesome nonetheless. We had a fantastic match. I think we had at least one supporter in the stands for us, so that was really cool.
How was it like, obviously, when you got to sign with the San Diego Surfs?
The Surfers, so that they're part of the WPL, which is the highest level of, I guess, amateur sports or amateur rugby, I guess I should say, in the States. And so obviously being a part of the best league in the nation was always really cool, because I always got to play against the best women in the country. And playing for the Surfers is just really special. It's a really special group. Definitely made a lot of lifelong friends there. So really cherish my time there.
What was that feeling like for you to get to put on that first professional rugby jersey with the San Diego Surfs?
Gosh, my first one, I don't even remember necessarily my first game with them, but it was always special because of like the bonds that I made. So I was always playing with such good friends that, like, some days I was really nervous for big games, but other days it was just like an opportunity to just have some fun with some of my best friends. So I always had a smile on, that's for sure.
How was it like, obviously, getting your start with the U.S. rugby team?
Yeah, so my first training camp with them, I think, was 2016, if I remember correctly. And I honestly didn't even know that I was there for the women's side. So I got invited to camp, which I was ecstatic about, but I'd been a part of the collegiate, the All-Americans collegiate side for a couple of years. And so I honestly thought I was going back for another collegiate camp. And then I get there and the head coach, Pete Steinberg, goes, "Yeah, so you're going to be with us this time?" And I was like, "What? I'm sorry, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're going to be playing with the women this camp." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay." So freaked out a little bit that initial night, but I mean, it was so awesome. And from then I feel like I've just grown, and it's been really cool.
Of course, coming off of that experience of obviously being surprised that you made the team, what was that feeling like of being surprised that you made the team and knowing that all of your hard work paid off?
Oh gosh. I mean, I feel like the job is never done in a way, but it was obviously really rewarding. I mean, obviously called my mom like as early as I could and be like, "Mom, like, you'll never guess, like, so exciting." So I think it was really cool getting to share that with other people that had been part of my journey and are still a part of my journey. I think every time that I get an opportunity, like, that's what makes it special, is like not only getting to do it, but then being able to share that with someone.
What does it feel like, obviously, to put on that U.S. rugby jersey and represent the U.S. while playing?
Yeah, it means a lot. I would say some of the most like fondest memories I have, honestly, are standing out there during the national anthem before the game and looking at the crowd, singing the anthem with my teammates. Sometimes we sway back and forth, but it's just like having that literally like that physical connection with my teammates and really just like feeling all the senses. So you're getting like, I'm seeing the crowd, I'm singing and I'm listening to my teammates, I'm listening to the crowd. I'm touching my teammates, really connected in that sense. And I feel the ground underneath me. It's just such an honor.
How was it like in 2017 going to the 2017 Sevens in Dubai?
That was fun. It was really fun. It's my one and only Sevens series stop that I ever played in. But like, what a cool place to go to, Dubai, and what a cool opportunity again it was to be able to get a cap as an international Sevens player. That tournament we ended up in second place, which was some of the best rugby we've played in years, and so that was obviously an added bonus. But it was pretty awesome.
What was it like, obviously, getting to travel the world and get to see, obviously, Dubai as an athlete and a professional athlete?
Yeah, so rugby's taken me to a lot of places, many places that I probably would have either not known about or never like chosen to go to on my own. And so I'm so thankful for that. So Dubai is one of those places. Okinawa, Japan is one of those places. Like the fact that like I'm doing something that allows me and takes me to those places is just incredible. But it is interesting going there as an athlete and not on just for vacation or holiday, because we are there to do a job and we are there for a specific purpose, and that's not to be a tourist and vacation. Oftentimes our time to explore those locations is quite minimal, but I've been pretty lucky that most teams or organizations I've been with have made it a point to at least do one thing special in those times to really get to experience something that's like local. So it's been really cool.
Of course, being a professional athlete and obviously going to those countries and having a job, what is that like also being able to balance and be like, okay, I'm in this country, let me go obviously visit and feel what it would feel like to live in such a country like Dubai?
Oh man, I feel like I didn't even get like half the experience that I could have there. I would absolutely love to go back and experience more of Dubai. But it was so interesting. So like something that really amazed me, I guess, about Dubai, something that I really liked is I've really found beauty in it, in a way, because which is interesting to me when I think about it, because I'm like, oh, it's just a bunch of like skyscrapers and then like a bunch of open land and desert, but the like how enormous the buildings were and how it was interesting that you have like the gosh, hopefully I don't butcher it, but the Burj Khalifa, like you have the tallest building in the world next to this like open lot that hasn't even been built on. Like there was just such an interesting beauty to it, when like normally I associate beauty with like grass and greenery and open lands or mountains, and it was just so different than what I'm used to, but it was still so beautiful in its own way.
What was the 2018 season like, going to the club sevens and winning the national championship for San Diego Surfs?
Yeah, 2018 was a really great year for us. The San Diego Surfers definitely have a pretty great lineage that we're really proud of, but 2018 was pretty special for us because not only did we win the Sevens Club National Championships, but we also won the WPL national champion. So we were champions of both sevens and 15s, which we hold really dearly. We're really proud of. So that was a really great year for us.
What was that feeling like of obviously hosting up the trophy of both the sevens and the 15s?
Oh man, really great. It's kind of one of those moments, as you mentioned earlier, where you feel like all the time and effort and the hard work that you've put in is paid off. But it's really special, again, being able to like look at your teammates and like no matter how exhausted and dead you are from the competition, like everyone is just beaming from ear to ear with smiles and excitement.
Of course, what is it like getting to play with the U.S. 15s and putting on that U.S. jersey and representing U.S. in the 15s?
Yeah, it's really special. We have such an incredible group. Honestly, our group talks about our team culture all the time. It's something that we really put at the forefront of who we are and what like who we want to be. And so like it's really great going into it and like in any assembly that we have, and being able to reconnect with everyone, especially like the States is so big that you have like groups of players playing here and there, but you don't really get to see everyone all the time. And sometimes our assemblies are limited in time, especially with COVID and whatnot, but the group is just so fantastic. So again, being able to share any moment with them is just awesome.
Of course, what are some differences and similarities between obviously game days with San Diego Stars and then obviously playing with the U.S.?
Good question. So I guess it's just a different level. I mean, international rugby is just huge. There's so much that goes into it. There's so much planning. There's so many logistics. So the days are a little bit, or a lot more regimented in a way. Sometimes we have a long bus ride into games for international rugby, and usually for in the WPL and with the surfers, we're either we have a home game or we've already traveled to that location, and so I feel like the days are a little bit shorter in that sense. But either way, like you just try and do your individual prep, whatever gets you ready for the game.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments in playing professional rugby?
Gosh, obviously playing in the games are fantastic. Getting medals, winning championships are fun and rewarding, like I've said. But a lot of times it's like moments either before and after training, or like I said, on the bus ride, where you really like have those moments and you guys are just laughing so hard at something. Like those are the things I feel like I'm gonna really remember. And sometimes it's honestly the 5 a.m. like morning trainings that you have where everyone is just so exhausted, would never choose to wake up on their own at this time, but because they know they have teammates that are also getting up at that time, and you're there because you love the sport and you love each other. Moments like those are honestly really, really memorable.
Of course, what is it like obviously getting to see your fans obviously ask for your autographs, take photos with you, and wear your jersey?
That's something I never really realized would be a reality, or hadn't really thought of before. So the fact that it recently like became a reality is really rewarding. I remember back in 2018, we had a game the US played England, and afterwards there was an English mother that caught my attention, and she asked me to sign something for her young daughter, who, gosh, must have been somewhere around 8 years old, give or take a couple years. But she, I think, had just recently started playing rugby, and she was so excited and just was so happy to have us there. And they asked for a photo of me, and I remember she ended up like tweeting out about the interaction. The mom did, of course, not the daughter, but the mom did tweeted out about it. And that was just so special to me, that like there's this like little girl that I obviously knew nothing about before that moment, that like thought I was just the coolest thing ever. And I was like, this is so awesome. So getting to share that moment, and every time I like think back about that interaction, it brings a smile to my face, and it's really, really rewarding.
What is that feeling like of obviously getting to see those fans wear your jersey and stuff?
Oh man. It's really great. It's really great. I know my family rocks the jerseys, the t-shirts all the time. um, but again, it's one of those things that just like it's almost like a pinch me, like I can't believe this is a reality moment every time I see it.
Of course, what are some of your future plans in your professional rugby career?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
What are some of your future plans in your professional rugby career?
Yeah. I mean, I like to stay in the present and just keep each day and trying to get better and better. Honestly, that's a good question. I think that the biggest next step for me would hopefully be the World Cup this year in this fall. That would obviously be the like pinnacle of my athletic rugby career. Would be able to play and compete and obviously hopefully do well and medal in the World Cup. So I haven't thought too much past that because that's the ultimate goal right now. That's absolutely all my vision is on that prize right now.
Of course, what is the training like, obviously, training for the World Cup?
It's pretty intense, I guess. I don't even know if that's the right word for it. I mean, we want to be the best. Again, like I said, we want to medal. We want to win the World Cup. So that it takes a lot of time and effort. Obviously, so we're training most days of the week. We're covering just as much because obviously that's a huge part of the game is not only training and watching film as well, but obviously recovery is huge. So, we're in the gym at least 3 days a week. We have multiple trainings, sometimes multiple in a day, playing games as much as we can. And, for a lot of us in the US, that means that we're over in England and we're playing in the professional league here.
What's that like, obviously, balancing, obviously, playing in England, but also living in the US and maybe having, obviously, a job outside of playing professional rugby?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think it's definitely different for all of us. There are definitely some similarities. There are definitely some similarities for many of us, but it's definitely different for each of us. So for me personally, there's definitely a lot to juggle. And so I have a fiance back at home who has just been an absolute rock, who's just been incredible. So he's keeping up with the home back in the States. I'm currently living in England with a wonderful host family. Couldn't have asked for a better family, which is really, really fantastic. But then again, you talk about those similarities, and this is one where it's reality for most of us that although we're playing professionally, we still have to hold either a part-time or a full-time job. So, at the times that we're not training, on our off days, they're not really off because, we're spending 8 hours working remotely just to keep up with life. But, we do it because we love it.
Of course, what advice would you give future college rugby players looking to play college rugby?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple things I think that I would like to share, but I would just like to really encourage them to be relentless in their pursuit of whatever they want to do. If they just want to be the best rugby player they can be, and wherever that takes them, great. If they want to, play college rugby and play for the national team one day, just be relentless in that pursuit. Like there's going to be some people along the road that are going to be naysayers, but don't let their opinion affect your belief in yourself, which sometimes is, one of those things that's like easier said than done. But there's always going to be someone that doesn't agree or doesn't believe, but like what's most important is you believe in yourself and that you keep pushing yourself. So I think that's huge, but also like grant yourself the ability to fail. Like failure is absolutely part of success. And the only way to get better is to try and do and quite often fail. But then it's how you learn from that. Is that what's important? So allow yourself to fail and absolutely believe in yourself.
What advice would you give future and current rugby players playing professionally?
Yeah. Good question. I would say I mean, even this could go for, younger players as well, because it is important to start young, but I would absolutely say like work on the mental side of the game practically just as much as the physical, because it's so important. It's so important to, work on visualization, again, to believe in yourself, to be able to stay calm in situations that might get chaotic. Like there's so much to the mental game that you really can work on and practice. And I think that's so important because that's what's going to keep you going.
What advice would you give those rugby players looking to play in the World Cup, whether it's their first time in the World Cup or multiple times?
I would probably say to, honestly, I mean, I don't want to sound too cliche, but like to be you. Like you got to this point because you're something special and people do believe in you and they do see something in you, and you did that by, like, if you're at this level, you didn't do that by pretending to be someone else. Like you did that by being you and by playing your game and by being amazing at whatever you're amazing at. So don't forget that when you go into the competition, and just give it your all. Just be your best.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Yeah, good question. Thanks for asking. So I'm most active on Instagram, which is Megan F15. And then I'm also on Facebook as well. And so if anyone wants to reach out, love to chat and meet new people. So those are definitely top two platforms for me.
Thank you again, Megan Foster, for your interview, and best of luck in your future in your professional rugby career.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Megan Foster, for your interview, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.